get hurt so bad in a good way. Exercise is good for you. Who would have thought? It may have changed my life. I don't know. Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel. So I had this wacky idea come to me recently when I was learning about habit forming, and I just have to see if it's gonna work for me. So there is this concept when it comes to forming new habits called habit pairing, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it's basically where you take a habit that you want to get better at and pair it with a habit that is already well established. So for instance, let's say you want to get better at taking vitamins. Well, you put your vitamin bottle right next to your toothbrush and you take your vitamins right before you brush your teeth every morning. Something like that. Or for instance, some people use habit pairing where they only allow themselves to watch their favorite TV show if they're on the treadmill. So exercise is in fact a habit that I want to get better at. So I thought, why not pair the habit of exercise with the habit of crochet and see if it gets me to exercise more. Now, I am not a person who hates exercise by any means. I love going for walks. I love yoga, but my problem is consistency. I might get really good at going for a walk every day for a week, and then the next week I don't walk at all. Or I will do yoga for an entire month, and then I won't do yoga again for another 6 months. And so I'm hoping that with this experiment, it can help me get just a little bit more consistent about my workout routine. Now, I do want to say right off the bat that this is not about weight loss. I'm not going to be talking anything at all about weight loss or how my body looks. So if you are triggered by that, which I am too, I understand, there's going to be no talk of that at all in this video. This is so much more about the way that my body feels than the way my body looks. I know that my mental health is 10 times better when I exercise. I sleep better, all of the things. So that is why I am trying to increase my exercise, just to get that out of the way. So my idea is to only allow myself to crochet on the days that I exercise and for only as long as I exercise for that day, if that makes sense. So if I exercise for 30 minutes, I get 30 minutes of crochet. If I exercise for an hour, I get an hour of crochet. Now, the problem with this experiment is that crochet is in fact my full-time job, and I can't just allow myself to not work if I don't exercise. That's not really gonna work for my schedule. But what I decided to do instead is to pick a project that is just for me, something that I really, really want to be working on. And that is going to be the project that I work on if I exercise. So that project is in fact another raglan top. Yes, this is my, I think, third raglan top. And I'm making it in this Wildflower worsted yarn from Hirschner's. I love this yarn. And I did go ahead and start on it because I wanted to make sure this actually was going to be a project that I would really want to work on. And in fact, it is a project that I really want to work on. Ideally, I would really like to do this experiment for an entire month because that is a good amount of time to start forming new habits. But with my current schedule, I just don't think that that is feasible. And my kids are about to be home on summer break. So we are going to be doing this experiment for 1 week, and I'm really curious to see how far I can get on this raglan with only working on it the amount of time that I exercise. It will be interesting. So I actually do really want to work on this right now. And so first I'm going to do some exercise, and I thought for today we could go ahead and start off with some yoga. I'm actually already wearing yoga pants. Most of the time in these videos, I'm wearing either yoga pants or sweatpants or pajama pants because most of the time you can't see them. So anyway, I'm going to turn on a yoga with Adriene video and get to doing some yoga. In today's video, you are getting ready to see me discover an exercise that is so excellent for the hands and wrist. But let me tell you about something else that has been a game changer when it comes to hand and wrist pain, and that is the sponsor of today's video, Bob and Brad. If you don't know Bob and Brad, they are two physical therapists with over 60 years of experience in the field, And they have a YouTube channel where they have been sharing tips and tricks. And now they have an entire product line to help with pain relief and pain management. I got a chance to try out this hand massager, and it has quickly become a game changer and something that I use every day. The portable and cordless design means that this is so easy for me to bring out in between crochet sessions when my hands are feeling a little tired. There are 3 different settings on this that target different areas of the hand and wrist. There are 3 different intensity levels and an optional heat setting. Not only do I find that this is good for hand pain and hand stiffness, it's also really good for circulation, which is so great for someone like me who's always struggled with poor circulation. As a crocheter, I love this product, and my husband, who works at a computer all day and then plays video games all night, loves this thing as well. I think that it can work for a variety of people and has so many uses. So if you are interested in purchasing this, I will have a link in my description, and you can use the code on the screen for 10% off. Thank you again to Bob and Brad for sponsoring today's video. So now let's get into those exercises. Okay, you guys, I did it. I did my yoga, made myself a smoothie. This is frozen banana and frozen cherries. So good. I'm gonna put that down though. So I actually ended up doing 2 different yoga videos. I first did yoga for wrist. I will link this down below because holy moly, do I recommend this video for all of you. I had somehow never done this video before. I have a lot of Yoga with Adriene videos that I do over and over and over again. But for some reason, this was one that I had never done before. And it was so good. It hurt so bad in a good way. I could definitely feel it strengthening my wrist, and 10 out of 10 do recommend. Although be prepared because it's a lot of work. But then I went ahead and did another video by Yoga with Adriene that was for your neck and shoulders. And that is one that I've done a bunch of times. And in total, I did yoga for 40 minutes, which means I get 40 minutes of crochet time. So I feel really good about that. I am going to finish my smoothie, and then I'm going to get to some crocheting, and then I'm going to take a shower. But I will check in with you guys after that. Okay guys, here is how far I got in my 40-minute session. Not too far yet. And I do really like the way that it looks. However, as I was working on it, I'm like, are these colors even gonna look good on me? Let's put it on just to see. I don't know if yellow is necessarily my color, but oh well, I'm going to make this anyway. And with this raglan, so with the other 2 that I've made, I started with the ribbing of the collar and then went down from there. This time instead, I did this neckline first, and I'm gonna go back in and add the ribbing later after I'm done. And I think I'm gonna do the ribbing in a solid color, like a solid pink color to kind of match the pink in here. I don't know. I probably won't even get to that in this video, considering that this is all I've done so far. But we'll see. So I actually had some other plans for today. I was going to start another video, get to crocheting on that project, but it is already noon, and I figure that I can just postpone that one till maybe tomorrow. And my daughter texted me, hey, don't forget to get some toothpaste for us, because they're out of toothpaste. And so I figured instead of driving to the store, I could just walk to the Dollar Tree, which does take me, I think, about 30 minutes, something like that. Actually, maybe even a little bit longer. We'll see. But I could just walk and count that as exercise time so that I can come back and work on this some more. Sounds like a good plan to me. So instead of taking a shower, I am gonna go for a walk, and eventually I will take a shower, I promise. I'm gonna go throw on some shorts and some walking shoes, and we're gonna go to Dollar Tree and get some toothpaste. And of course, we're gonna look at the yarn while we're there, because I mean, why not? And maybe they'll have some more kits as well. I don't know. We're gonna go peruse. Okay, I went for my walk, I took a shower, and my chin is bleeding. I have the zit on my chin that's been there for over a week at this point, and it will not go away. And when I was getting dressed, I scraped it, which is unfortunate. It is quite painful, but such is life. So anyway, I did not get any yarn from the Dollar Tree, not today. I just didn't really need anything. I also did not need either one of these materials that I bought, but oh my gosh, this dinosaur one, I could not resist it. How stinking cute is that? If my nephew is still into dinosaurs on his birthday in October, then I might be making him something with this, a little bag or something. And then I just thought that this was really pretty, and I am wanting to work on a bag project at some point. So I got this to line the bag. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty. And of course, got my daughter's toothpaste. Very exciting. According to my watch, I walked for 52 minutes, which means I get 52 minutes of crochet time, which is amazing. I also have to say, I feel so good right now, especially with that wrist exercise. I cannot believe how much better my wrists feel after that. If I take nothing else from this video, that might be something I start doing like at least once a week, but maybe even every day for a while. It may have changed my life. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to continue working on my raglan. I'll probably break up that 52 minutes. I'll probably break it up into 2 separate sessions. But yeah, I'm excited to get some more crochet time. Hello, you guys. It is day 2 of this challenge, and you guys are getting a whole lot of no makeup Rachel in this video. A little scary. I apologize, but I have a lot of work-related things. I need to finish my Patreon pattern. I need to film some short-form content, but before all of that, I do need to go return a package to the post office, and instead of driving, I am going to walk. I do feel like this challenge is just reminding me that I can just walk places instead of drive. I do live in a place that pretty much depends on cars for a lot of the things that I need to do, but I do feel pretty lucky that I have at least some things within walking distance. So I am going to walk to the post office and return that package and pick up stuff from my P.O. box. And then I'm going to get back and do all the other work-related things I need to do. And after that, I think I'm going to do that wrist yoga again, because my wrist feels so much better after that. And I just think I'm going to incorporate that into my routine. So after that, I'm going to total up those 2 exercise times, and I can work on my project again. So I'm excited about that. I have to admit that it's a little bit like just one more thing to add to the to-do list, because most of the time, sort of my reward for finishing up work-related things for the day would be to work on my side project. But now I have to add in the exercise element. But I know that in the end, I'm going to appreciate it and feel so much better. I already slept so much better last night, so that is definitely a pro. But anyway, I am going to go grab my package and walk to the post office. Okay, you guys, I ended up going for a 20-minute walk and then doing 20 minutes of yoga. So that left me with 40 minutes of crochet time. And this is how far I've gotten on my raglan. And I was really hoping it was going to be time to break for the arms, but I think I'm going to give it one more round before I break for the arms. I do want this to be a little bit more loose fitting than my other two, but I'm also concerned I'm going to run out of yarn and not have enough to finish this. So I'm probably going to give it one more round and then I'll break for the arms. I do feel like on camera, or maybe just from this distance, it's reading very yellow, very, very yellow. Let me show you up close. There's actually like several different colors. There's the green, there's the yellow, the orange, the pink, which yeah, you can tell from up close, but from back here, it reads a lot more yellow, which again, I don't know if yellow is my color, but I do like it. It's kind of cool and trippy. I like the way this yarn is working up. It's really nice to work with. There you go. So it is currently Friday as I'm filming this, which means we are going into the weekend. And I don't usually film a lot on the weekend just because my kids, my husband are home and we're off doing family things. And also I have been trying being the operative word here, to take at least one day off a week from crochet, which I don't want to do. I'd really rather just crochet every day, all the time. But I know that it's better for my hands and my neck, my shoulders, everything, to take at least one day off a week. So I think that will probably be tomorrow, Saturday. But I don't know if I'm going to end up exercising tomorrow and then maybe that amount of time can roll into the next day. We'll see though. I'm going to allow myself to take the day completely off tomorrow if I'm not feeling it at all. But if, you know, I feel like exercising, then I'm going to exercise and I'll just roll that crochet time into Sunday, which Sundays I always, or almost always, go take a long walk at the park. So I probably will do that. I'll film some clips for you guys and we'll total up that time and see how much time I have to work on my raglan. So that is the entire plan. I'm feeling mostly really good about this challenge, except for one thing, which is the timer. So having to time myself while I crochet is kind of stressful for me. I've talked about this before, I think, but I just don't time myself when I crochet. A lot of people will ask me, how long did this take you? How long did that take you? I'm like, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, because for some reason, timers have always stressed me out. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I think it was first grade. Yeah, it was first grade because my first grade teacher was really mean. We were doing timed math tests and I kept checking the timer like every 2 seconds. And she got on to me in front of the whole class for checking the timer. And so I swear I just still have trauma from that. I don't like timers. Anyway, we will see how tomorrow goes. And I'll throw in a montage of the weekend and I'll check in with you guys on Monday. Hello, you guys. It is Monday. I have been filming all day. It is currently 2:45 and I have all of like 15 minutes until I have to go get my kid. I was filming the video where I featured these cuties, which hopefully that video is already out so that these won't be a spoiler for that. I'm not actually sure. So let me tell you a little bit about what I got up to over the weekend and then we'll talk about my plans for today. So on Saturday, I didn't do any official exercise. I did clean my house and I swear nothing makes me more like tired and like worn out than cleaning my house, like bending down, like scrubbing the floors and stuff. I always feel so tired afterwards, but I didn't count it as an official exercise for this challenge just because I knew I was going to take the day off of crochet anyway. And then on Sunday, I think I told you guys, I usually go to the park and go for a long walk. However, the weather was terrible yesterday. It was humid and windy and there were chances for storms. It didn't actually end up storming, but I didn't want to get to the park and then like get caught in a storm. So I just did a workout from home. I did 40 minutes of like aerobics. I don't know what else to call it. Calling it aerobics makes it sound like Richard Simmons tapes from the 80s, which I mean, that's basically what it was. But anyway, I did 40 minutes of that and then 20 minutes of weight training, which I have to say, weights are my least favorite exercise, I think. I know it's good for me. I know I've heard that weight training is really good, especially for women, to build up muscle and to prevent things like osteoporosis, but I do not like lifting weights. It's not fun. It's just my least favorite type of exercise, but I did force myself to do it. And again, I always feel better afterwards. I will say today I'm feeling like a little bit sore, like in a good way, like that satisfying feeling of being sore after you do a workout. You know what I mean? But I don't know what I'm going to end up doing today because, like I said, I have like 15 minutes, so I have to go get my kid from school. So I don't have time to do anything right now. So I have to wait till my kids are home. And what I really want to do is go for a long walk. I'm craving a long walk. However, it is 89 degrees right now. So if I want to go for a walk, I will have to wait until like the sun is more down. And I don't know if I want to do that. And I'm not sure if there's chances for storms again today. So I think what I'm going to do is after I go pick up my daughter, I am going to come home and do that same wrist yoga, that 20-minute wrist yoga, and then maybe do another aerobic exercise that's a little bit shorter. Let me show you how far I got on my little raglan. So this is how far I got. I did break for the sleeves and it's going really well. However, I only have this much yarn left, which kind of scares me. This is gonna definitely end up being more cropped than I expected, but that's okay. I can always go in and add a really thick ribbing section, and I do still have to add the ribbing section for the neck as well, but we'll worry about all of that later. I am kind of questioning my choices of why I decided to do this challenge this week. It was probably the worst week ever. I'm like wondering if this was a mistake because I am so stressed this week because it is the last week of school for my kids. That's already stressful. And then it is also the week leading up to my cycle, which, oh my gosh, is always the absolute worst for me mental health wise. I don't know about anyone else. And also my sleep is usually worse. So I feel like this was maybe the worst week to do this. But then again, maybe it was the best week for me to do this challenge so I can see if exercising is helping my mental health. And do I feel like it is? I don't know. We will check in about that later. But anyway, I do have to go get my daughter and then we'll do some more home exercises. I was really hoping to get more outdoor exercises done this week just so I could get outside more, but that's just not how it's worked out so far. So anyway, I will check in with you guys later. Okay, y'all, it is day 7 of this challenge. It is the very last day. And you may note that I did not check in yesterday. Yesterday was just one of those days. I had one of my kids sick yesterday, home from school, and it is the last week of school. You can maybe hear that she's coughing in the background. She is still home sick. So that happened. And then I also just had like technical difficulties yesterday. It was one of those days where everything was going wrong. But let me back up a little bit to talk about day 5. So I did do 20 minutes of aerobics. And even though it was shorter than the last time, I did 40 minutes the last time, only did 20 minutes this time. But this time it was much more intense. And then I was only able to fit in 10 minutes of yoga just because I was pressed for time. So then yesterday, after all the stresses of the day, I did in fact fit in a 37-minute walk with Lily at the park, which I have to admit was a stress reliever after the day I had. So here is where I've gotten on my raglan. So I did show that I ran out of this yarn definitely sooner than I thought that I would, unfortunately. So this is going to be much more cropped than I expected, but I did steam this like within an inch of its life to kind of give it a little bit more looseness to it. And I did go ahead and start working on the collar here. I'm just doing single crochets there. And then I will start working on the arms and the bottom. I still don't know how much I will get done, but I do hope to, once again today, get, weather permitting, another long walk in this evening. And I think I will probably also do another 20-minute session of wrist yoga just because that just definitely is feeling so good on my wrist. So that is the plan. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully today goes better than yesterday, but I will check in with you guys tomorrow for my final thoughts on this little challenge. Okay, y'all, our week-long only crochet if I exercise challenge is done, which I know is a little bit of a misnomer for me, but calling it only work on one specific project if I exercise just doesn't have the same ring to it. But we started this video with a zit on my chin and we're ending it with a lovely cold sore. So, I mean, you guys are really just getting raw and real Rachel in this video, so you are welcome. So before I talk about my final thoughts on this little challenge, I wanted to talk about what I did yesterday, which I ended up doing a different wrist and hand yoga. This one was only, I think, 10 or 11 minutes long, and it was not as effective for me personally as the other one, but it is nice because you can do this one sitting on your couch or chair or wherever. So it could be a really nice one to add to the rotation. I will link that one down below as well. And then I did go for a 30-minute walk. So I got 40 minutes to work on my raglan, and these are the final results of my raglan. I unfortunately didn't get that far just because I was working on the sleeves and I wasn't really liking how things were turning out. So I was frogging and redoing. I have to admit that if I'm frogging on a day where I'm not timing myself, then I'm like, oh, that doesn't count. I frogged that, so I can redo it and it doesn't count, right? But if I'm timing myself, then, you know, unfortunately that time does actually count towards my total crochet time. So maybe you will see this in a future stash busting video, or if you're interested, I could do a video where I go through and fix and finish old projects. Let me know if you'd be interested in that one. But as far as the way that this challenge went, it definitely went different than I expected, especially because this was such a stressful week as it turned out. On top of the fact that it was the last week of school, and that it's the week before my cycle. I also had a sick kid, which she thankfully is back in school for the last day of school today. But I also had a stressful incident happen that I won't get into. But I have to admit that if I weren't doing this challenge where I'm trying to get more exercise in, I would probably deal with those stressors by just being more sedentary and probably doing more crocheting than my wrist should really be doing right now. And so I think that doing this challenge and focusing on exercise that was going to help me relieve my stress, it really did help me relieve my stress. And I mean, I think I could have seen that coming. Exercise is good for you. Who would have thought? But as far as adding in the crochet element, do I think that it was really effective? Did it motivate me to exercise on days that I probably wouldn't have? Yes, absolutely. And I think, honestly, if I'm just being completely honest with you guys, filming it really kept that accountability going as well. But I just don't know if this is going to be a sustainable option for me. I mentioned at the beginning that I actually mostly enjoy exercise except for weightlifting. I still don't really like that one, but I just don't know if this is a practice that I'm going to be able to continue to do going forward. I think for me personally, I might need to figure out a different hobby to connect with exercise if I want to continue doing the pairing thing, because I do think that the pairing thing works for me. I just don't know if doing the crochet part of it is actually going to work for me in the future, just because crochet is both a hobby and a job for me. So those lines just get a little bit blurred. So I think I need to do something completely outside of crochet in order for this to actually work for me personally. But I wonder if this is a challenge that if crochet is not your job, this would work well for you. Let me know if you've tried this before. And I hope that, I know this was just like a silly little YouTube video, but I always hope to motivate you and inspire you in some sort of way. So let me know what you thought about this challenge, and would you ever do something like this? I know it seems a little bit silly, like I said, but I do think that this concept of pairing something that you don't really want to do with something that you do want to do can be really effective. Thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end here. I know it was a little bit of a different video for me, but if you've made it to this part of the video, as always, I want to know, what were you working on as you watched today's video, or were you exercising? That's always an option as well. If you did like today's video, be sure to hit the like button. You can subscribe, stick around. Let me know what other kind of videos you want to see next. You can join my Patreon, where I make a bonus video as well as an exclusive pattern once a month. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.